Hey everybody, it is Winter coming to you from the Think Tank. So one quick correction I need to start off with. Now I mistakenly upgraded these two militia here, one on Volcano or Iwo Jima, one on Bonin. I didn't realize they didn't have ports, not even minor ports. And with the reworking of the map and all that, it was just overlooked on my part. So what we ended up doing is I downgraded them back to militia, and they stayed where they're at. And then I upgraded a militia to an infantry on Formosa, and then on Caroline Islands. But I didn't move anything else. And this is just an example of it. This is just one of those things that comes with the learning curve of a new edition. And I wasn't. It's the sort of thing I'm not going to ask to retcon completely. It's just like, okay, well, we'll just still spend the money over here, and then we'll just have to adjust moving forward. So with that out of the way, we're going to roll right into our turn. And I have 2 tech rolls to make. The first one is going to be for improved construction, which is right out of there again. Improved construction, 4, that misses. And then long-range aircraft. That also misses. Well, that's not good for the Japanese tech program. All right. Now on to buys. I'm going to hold on to $1, and then I'm going to build 2 Marines, 1 Cavalry, 1 Artillery, and I'm going to finish building that major port in Palau. And that we can slide over. Now, as far as movements go, now there's going to be quite a bit of shifting around here and adjusting to the on the map itself. So I am going to try to speak as clearly as possible, and then at the end I'm going to do just a quick overview of who is where. So we're actually going to start up in Manchuria, and we're going to rail 1 infantry from northern Manchuria down to Rihe. We are going to move 1 cavalry from eastern Manchuria over to Rihe. And then starting in Sea Zone 14, let me scoot back just a bit so hopefully all of this ends up in shot. There we go. That should work. Okay, from Sea Zone 14, we are going to pick up an infantry in Rihe, and we're just going to take this chip. On this transport, we're going to come down to P32, pick up this infantry from Formosa, and then we are going to end our movement in P44 and drop off both those units into Palau. And then also from P14, this coastal sub is going to go down to P32. And then from P14, this heavy cruiser and this light cruiser are going to move to P44 and take up their position just outside of Palau as well. Let's get them adjusted. Sorry, I'm very particular about the order I put my ships in. It also makes it easier for me to keep it straight. So then from P15, we're going to take a transport, pick up these 2 Marines from Kyushu, and then they are going to be transported down to Palau. And I will eventually get a fleet and army marker for there, I'm sure. Also from P15 down to Palau, we are going to move, yes, all 3 of our carriers, 2 fleet and 1 light. A light cruiser, 2 subs, and a battleship will all also go down to Palau. Oops. And I will, like I said, I will clean all this up with a fleet marker and or an army marker here in a bit. Well, after my turn. All right. Then, let's see, that was P15. All right, from P44, which is the Palau Sea Zone, we are going to have this transport come over to the Caroline Islands, pick up this infantry, and then bring him back and drop him off. And then from P44 to P15, we're going to send back up to P15 two destroyers. Oops. Okay. From P46 to P44, so they're going to come down to over to Palau. We're going to move this heavy cruiser and this submarine. And then from P35 to P43, which is just north of Palau, we're going to move this torpedo boat destroyer. Then from P35 to P44, which is Palau, we're going to move this heavy cruiser. And then from P35 to P45, we're going to move this coastal sub. And then from Korea down to P44, we're going to fly a TAC bomber and a fighter, and they're going to both land on the fleet carrier. That was empty. All right, now that should be it for my non-com moves, but as normal, I'm going to take a quick look to make sure I didn't overlook anything and to make sure I'm happy with things, because I may look at this and go, you know, that I don't feel comfortable with that anymore. I had thought I wanted to do that, but it just doesn't look right or feel right now that I see it on the map. But I am okay with all of this as it is. So let's go ahead and place our builds. We're going to finish the major port there on Palau. We're going to place this cavalry up in Rihi. We're going to place these two Marines and this artillery in Kyushu. And then we are going to scoot back. We're going to go ahead and do our recruitment roll for Siam. And that is not a 1. And so we are going to collect 19, 3 for the U.S. oil, 16 from our territories. And so we're going to have a total of 20, including the dollar we had left over. So we'll have $20 on hand for our next turn. Now, that's it. My turn is done. I'm going to just do a quick rundown on who is where, just so that everything is up to date. So, Northern Manchuria and Eastern Manchuria both have 3 infantry. Korea has a fighter and a tactical bomber. Rihi has a militia, 3 cavalry, a motorized, a mountain, and 3 infantry. Kyushu has an artillery, 2 Marines. Okinawa has an infantry and a seaplane. Palau has a militia. They have 5 Marines, 3 infantry. Marshall Islands has a single infantry. Bonin has a militia. Iwo Jima has a militia. That is it for the ground. Now, as far as the sea zones, P15 has a heavy cruiser, 2 destroyers, a torpedo boat destroyer, and 2 transports. Sea Zone 44, which is just around Palau, is going to have 2 fleet carriers and a light carrier. And then on those carriers are going to be 3 fighters and 2 TAC bombers. And then there are 2 battleships. There is 1 battle cruiser, 3 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, a destroyer, 3 submarines. Let me back up a little bit, sorry. 3 submarines and 3 transports. And then in P32, there is a coastal sub. In P43, there is a torpedo boat destroyer. And in P45, there is a coastal submarine. I believe that is everything. Yeah, that looks like it. So for right now, this is Wintermute signing off and handing it over to the Commonwealth.